Hi everyone. I wanted to share a little about the equinox session that I'm offering that is coming on Tuesday. And as we know, we've been feeling the energies that are brewing at this point with this charged window that we are moving through, which of course, if you want to put it in a time frame from Mahashivratri, the new moon, till the full moon on March 25th, that is the lunar eclipse, and even beyond that, solar eclipse, of course, that window even more. And then we look at, the way the planets are aligned, and of course, even beyond that, if you're sensing it at the level of your body, right? Yatha pinde tatha brahmande. These energies, it's truly right now, that shift that is already done at the subtle level is showing its face, its manifested face at this point at the level of the senses. And the invitation again is for the form that's living at the level like this, at the masculine manifest level, is to stay open and be this open receiving space to be able to sense what is coming forth that already is. So this is the inspiration for this video. I wanted to share a little bit about this absolutely, in my experience, which has been a life-changing process that came through. This came through in my awareness a little while ago, which, was received from the higher energies. And as you know, it's all consciousness. It's our own higher self in that sense, the one being. And it's an ancient tantric practice, unbelievably simple and easy to do, just takes a few minutes. And so I wanted to share a little bit about this because we already did a small circle on Mahashivratri evening, in fact, and was so powerful. I'm still hearing, and then from that the request has come to do another session, and that's why on Equinox. And of course everything flows, right? It just felt right that this offering had to come through. And so I wanted to share a little bit about this practice because first and foremost that I really want to touch upon is that this is not one more thing to do, right? Because at this time where we are, there's so much happening already that this was one of the questions as well that came up during the sessions and again after that as well, because it's like, is it one more thing? What do I need to do, or what do I need to know? The beauty of this process or practice, that's a few minutes literally, is the fact that that's all it is. Once you do that, there is nothing to do. Process itself works on its own. So it is almost like a master key to the lock, whichever lock. And what I mean by that is that each of our perceived consciousness, that is the body, is like a lock. It's like a mechanism, right? It's vibrating at a certain level. So this is the master key for that. Doesn't matter which mechanism, how the body is vibrating, wherever each of us might find ourselves, this key works. So there's nothing to do. Once we do it for a few minutes, it's done. It's done. It's as simple as that. So there's really nothing to do. Just do the practice and the rest of it gets done. We just observe. We'll naturally see. That's been it's just been an amazing experience, I really have to say. Almost where I say it's almost like an instant shift that you'll really see. I want to kind of also paint a picture about this, right? Because this has to do with the mantra Om Namah Shivaya. Now, as we know, if we take this perspective, that manifest mind at the level is elements, right? It's a dance of elements. So one way to look at it is that the way that these elements dance, all of the manifest mind, from this perspective, if we look at it, is this dance of these elements, right? And the way that these elements dance in ratio with each other and the way that they're vibrating determines the vibration of the state of mind, and therefore everything is born from that, right? State of consciousness, level of awareness, that determines the whole domino effect, right? Our level of perception, interpretation, choices we make, experience, expression, everything. So we know that. So when we are moving as a certain state of consciousness or mind, as a vibration, to paint a picture, if you look at it like consciousness is this ocean or a river, right? That's all there is. There's nothing else. It's just water, right? Then each of our bodies is like the whirlpool. Now when the whirlpool is vibrating at a denser level, that is the Dwaparika, which we are familiar with as the thinking mind, it has a momentum and it's at a denser level. So we experience ourselves as if we are that whirlpool separate from life, right? Although the whirlpool itself is water, consciousness experiencing itself. But it's a mechanism, right? In this one can say one whirlpool is dancing slightly differently than the other whirlpool. It all looks different, but it's the same ocean, same whirlpool, in that sense, right? So when we are moving as this, you can sense this whirlpool as this energetic body. Each body and its identity at the vibratory level is this whirlpool. So for this, what's coming through is like for this practice, the way that I really see it is it's like three things coming together in the simplicity of the center, which is Tantra, Yantra and Mantra. Tantra is the way mind flows, right? There is a nature with this, right? At least relatively speaking, where we find ourselves, everything is relative. That which is consciousness eventually is not something we can even speak about, but at this point. So Tantra. So there is a mechanism to it from where we stand, the way that it moves. Right? That's the sacred geometry, right? That's the electromagnetic field. So there is a phenomenon to this, the way that consciousness is moving. So that's Tantra. If you look at the yantra, which we say yantra is like this literally like the structure, like the object. When we are vibrating at the level of the Dwapar Yuga, where we are identified as an unconscious, person, as an object, right? As this concept, as a static thing naturally. For that, we play with the yantras, yantras are like these sacred objects, whatever it could be, anything could be a yantra with this. You have this yantra, you play with that. It basically is personifying that higher level of consciousness. So we can access that, and that is the play through which the body then experiences and starts vibrating at a higher consciousness. Now we are shifted, we are at that higher level of consciousness. We realize that even at the level of what the body itself is the yantra. Right? So that's the whirlpool, it's moving in a certain way. And then of course, the power of mantra. Same thing again, all three facets of the same one thing, right? So mantra is at the level of sound, words. When we utter these words, so that mechanism, literally this electric conduit starts shifting. When this vibrates differently, our perception is different, our experience is different. Simply phenomenal. And that's why I share with somebody that eventually, when the thinking mind, all these words, long videos, everything, just so that we can come to, the thinking mind can come to a state of faith. I am much more than what I believe I am. What appears is not what seems to be. I'm more than that. And that state is really powerful for the personal mind. Because then you are with what you're doing completely. And you're not using the same limited meaning-making mind or lens to give meaning. So that's why it's very important if we pick the mind to give meaning, to really see what is that state of consciousness, right, through which we move the mind. So when we come, to really seeing this, the personal mind comes into that, then can rest, right? And then you do the practice. And that is the mantras. Right? And that's why I really want to name this, because this comes up very often, where it's like, of course, if you know the meaning of the mantra, you know that that opens the heart up as well, the bhakti aspect as well, then of course it's like a different state of consciousness. That's a higher, expanded state of consciousness. Even if you don't know, just the uttering of the word works. Right? Because it's phenomenal. Everything is phenomenal. Like this body moving, how's the heart beating? How does the blood know? It's not the mind telling it. How is it functioning? Right? There's that innate intelligence. So to use the mantras, it will work for you. Period. Right? Another thing that I also want to name here is that when we go into this bhakti state, uttering the mantras, so because somebody is asking me, do you utter them? Actually, no. Because when you sense into even the essence of this mantra with your heart open, it's a sensing. Vibration begins within you. When we are vibrating in the Dwapar Yuga state of mind, that is denser, that is when you need a lot of the mantra chanting to be done, because it needs that much. It's like, I've shared this in my Kali Yuga video, right? It's like the Iron Age. When that is dense, the iron is not moldable. It's hard. It's concrete. Its level of awareness is less. What kind of practice is needed for that will be very different. And again, I mean that because when this was being initiated, all this was coming through really, because if you look at it, religion, all of these, whatever that is there, was for the age of Pisces. The Dwapar Yuga state of mind is for that. During that time, we need the outer guidelines. We need the outer practice, long practice, doing all of that stuff. When in an expanded state of consciousness, which already is right now, where we are, light touch, that's all that is needed. That's it, because we are like water, we are like air. Right? Again, elements. These elements, like come, the Shivaya element starts to this thing, and that is what it means by Nama. One way to look at Nama is like, know me. Only Shivaya. Right? In that sense, that I am beyond that which we look at it. So that's why we say Namaha, we do this, right? We bring it together. I'm unfragmented, I'm one, I'm wholeness. In the heart, we bend the head down. Like this itself is a mechanism just to do this. So, it's going to bring that. So that was the age of Pisces. We are in the age of Aquarius already. So now it's fluid. So this is like a self-initiating. For age of Pisces, we needed an outer. All eventually is the same, one consciousness, however it happens. I want to name that right. But in that we needed these outer practices. We needed like outer guru. This is what came through. It is really coming through. Is that when we awaken, we realize we are consciousness. Consciousness itself is a self-initiating, self-perpetuating, self-fulfilling phenomenon. Every state of mind plays in its own playground. Waking up as this, and if you find this video and if it's resonating, no coincidence. Nothing is a coincidence. So, it's that we're already at this realized state. That's it. It's just that light touch. So, it's the key. So, this practice is the bringing of these three together. So, even that's why, the reason I mentioned all this, because the question was like, do you need to do mantra chanting? I do not do any mantra chanting. Even if I need to do it, it's an automatic thing, right? If there is, it just comes through. I utter it a few times. For this practice especially, it's few minutes, and eventually, it really stays good. Once you sense that spaceless conscious space within for that mantra, you don't even need to, because we are already Om Namah Shivaya. We Shivoham and beyond that. So it's that. When you sense into that, just the whole system vibrates. So there's nothing to do, nothing to know, no hours of nothing, just be in that space. Self-initiating practice. So this is the tantra, yantra, mantra coming together. Simple practice we will do. And this is the key. When this unlocks, so these elements, this is the key point of this practice, really, the process, is that these elements have a home, a key point centers in the body. When they are accessed in a certain way and energy moves with that awareness just for those few minutes, it's like putting the key in and unlocking. That's all is needed. Once the door is open, the door is open. Everything that is needed flows in then and now. Now, what is needed to be known arises in the now. Everything is here. Right? So it's really bringing us back to that center. It's just that one practice. Once you do that, we'll really see instant shift. You'll start higher perception. We see more, we sense more. Like just by doing this, it's the change of the that electromagnetic field. If any of this resonates, I would love for you to join us. You can have your blessed presence in the field. Yeah, that's pretty much it. There's nothing more to that. And little meditation, practice and things like that. This has come through. So go ahead and register for sure. And this is again on Tuesday, equinox, 7 p.m. CST. I hope to see you there. There's one thing that's coming through the energy that has been coming through in all the videos as well, is that the theme of this time is the very innate nature of consciousness that is living. I am living, victorious. That is the thing. I already am. There is nothing else apart from me. So it is celebrating an awakened body,